it's Clay. Welcome to another League of Legends video. This time I'm doing a why-buy on Malphite, the Shard of the Monolith. Who even knows what that means? He's some sort of rock man, pretty epic. He's got a really cool deep voice, and he walks around like a total just legit dude. I mean, he's just so legit the way he walks around. He just kind of waddles his arms. I just love it. It just makes me kind of laugh. He just kind of, his hands are so big. And where actually is his face? Is it this little thing? Like, what on top? Is that just some sort of rock mane? And this little thing here sticking out is his face? Who could even know? But anyways, Malphite. He is a very powerful champion. He's a bit of a permaban in lower elos, at least where I play at Silver. He's a bit of a just permanently banned, always and forever. So I very rarely get to play him actually in a ranked game. But still, he's a pretty fun champ to play. Oh, I almost face-checked that brush. Were they in there? Oh, she was. I would have seen her. That's funny. I actually remember this. I had no idea that they were in there. But I don't know what Nidalee was waiting for, but she's just chilling like a villain. This poor Akali has just taken a ton of harass from me. But yeah, anyways, Malphite, he is a straight tank. Just an absolute rock monster. He's pretty much the bane of any AD carry. His kit is pretty much designed to shut down AD champions. Yeah, just a straight tank, an absolute monster. Somebody who is one of the best AoE initiators in the game, which is the reason why you see him banned so frequently. Is his initiation is absolutely second to none. And he basically, his ultimate is just kind of like this big go sign for your team. Just basically tells them, hey, go attack this target right now, blow them up, and then they all do, and then you win the team fight. So I would say the reason that Malphite is so strong and so constantly banned is because he is so good at uniting a team that way. Teams, I feel like one of the biggest problems that people have in teams is that in kind of ranked or normal queue, even solo queue, is that there's just a lack of teamwork. But because Malphite does such a good job of telling people when to initiate a fight as a team. I think that's one of the reasons why it makes him so incredibly strong and why he's permanently banned at lower elos. But anyways, this was a normal match because, like I said, I'm rarely able to play him in a ranked match. But let's kind of talk about him. He's pretty strong in the top lane. It's probably his home role. He's also viable in the jungle just because his kit doesn't really need a ton of gold to be effective. But anyways, let's start talking about his abilities and figure out why he gets banned so much. His passive, Granite Shield, this has to be one of the best passives in the game. In terms of a tank, it's just such a strong passive. Basically, he gets a shield which will regenerate if he does not take damage in 10 seconds, equal to 10% of his maximum health. So health stacking on Malphite is very strong because you get this bonus shield, 10% of your maximum health. So like a Warmogs or Randuin's Sunfire Cape, all these are strong options. I see him getting a Q and an Ignite to pick up that first kill. But this shield is so effective. It's one of those things where when you're laning against him, it's just so annoying because you get a little bit of harass off. You just start to kind of chip away. It takes a good chunk of damage. Right now, I think the shield is 86. So that's like a couple of auto attacks, maybe a spell or two. But it takes a good chunk of damage just to even break through that shield to begin with. And then once you finally do, he just backs off, and 10 seconds later, it's all brand new again. So, very obnoxious right there. Volibear got me under tower, took a couple curse shots, and I'm still sitting at, a majority, like 80% of my health. So a very strong shield for a tank. Scales nicely with health. Next up was to be his Q, Seismic Shard. This is a targeted shot ability. You can see I used it right there on that very well timed. I love when that happens, when I'm talking about ability and then I use it immediately after. But it's a targeted ability. Basically, Malphite will throw this rock, or a shard of earth is what they say, but I think it's some sort of rock, through the ground, and it hits the target. It will deal damage and slow them. And then Malphite will steal that movement speed for himself, for the same amount of speed that was lost. So I believe it's a 14% up to 26%. So it's basically a movement speed steal. It has pretty high flat damage, up to 270, and it has a 60% AP ratio. So you'll see some AP Malphites who will use this as kind of their primary nuke. But very strong in lane. I probably used it a little bit too, considering using it right there against Akali. I probably used it a little bit too judiciously in lane, just because the mana costs are a little bit high, and I intended to run a little bit, unfortunately. But I really like to max this first in lane, just because it offers you a nice poke. It also gives you some ranged last hitting. Like I said, though, the only problem is really mana, but there are a lot of good mana tank items that synergize really nicely with this kit, like a Frozen Heart, something like that. Yeah, overall a very strong ability here. Brutal Strikes would be his W. It has a passive active component to it. The passive component kind of is like a Tiamat, where his basic attacks will deal a percentage of the attack damage within 200 range of the target, so kind of in an AoE. So you can see that as I'm auto-attacking some of these creeps, some of the adjoining creeps are also taking damage as well. So there's a little bit of like a splash damage kind of around your auto-attack. And then the active component for 6 seconds, Malphite has increased armor and attack damage by a percentage. So 20 up to 40% increased AD and armor. So this is kind of one of the main reasons that makes him a good tank, is that you don't necessarily need to build, you can pretty much build straight tanky. Health and armor is mostly your focus. And then you can still deal a lot of damage with your W active, which can be a very, very nice chunk of damage. So I would actually at some point love to try like a glass cannon build, where you like build 80 carry items, like a Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, Last Whisper, Phantom Dancer, that type of thing. And your W would be absolutely absurd. Like a 40% AD steroid is just ridiculous. So I would love to try that at some point, but that's definitely not how Malphite was intended to play. You can see they're coming in for this gank, but I'm just like, whatever, I'm throw out a Q, and they pretty much can't even get me to half health. So, with all of that damage from these two assassins, they pretty much got me to half health, so I'm unfazed with my Giant's Belt. I would say that Brutal Strikes is probably his weakest ability in lane. It's probably better in the jungle, just to give you that splash damage to help you clear a little bit better, but in lane it's a little bit useless. I generally would take a point of this at level 4, and then just kind of sit on it. You can see I used my ulti there on Akali. We're going to find her. There she is. I don't think she's going to get away anytime soon, especially when you're going to run that way, Akali. What are you doing, you crazy? And then kind of an interesting use of flash there from Lux, but she did pick up the kill, so good job, Lux. But anyways, Brutal Strikes, it's not so effective in lane because it will push the lane inadvertently, which is oftentimes a bad thing in top lane. So I would think that you would want to probably max this last if you're laning with Malphite. But anyways, next up would be his E. I just used it there, Ground Slam. In a circle around him, Malphite will slam the ground and deal damage, and it will also decrease attack speed. Another really good snipe there from Lux. So it's an AoE damage ability that will also remove attack speed. Interesting about this ability is it actually scales with ability power and armor. So 30% of your armor is translated into damage. Another reason why Malphite makes for such a good tank is, again, that if you build armor, armor does a couple things for you, is that it synergizes very, very nicely with your passive, because it gives you just a ton of effective health. I don't really know what this Akali was doing. Even though I'm a little low on mana, I'm just really not scared. I'm just going to stand here and wait for her to come out of her shroud and just hit her a bunch. Going to run away, but I'm really not scared of her. Oh, Shen comes in with a timely save. Watch this. There's the beautiful play from Shen and a nice taunt. So Shen saved my life. Maybe I should have been scared. Really good play there from Shen. That was fantastic. But anyways, his ult. So when you build armor, you not only are going to do increased damage with your E, but you'll also get more effective HP, because when you build armor, armor and health and shields all kind of scale multiplicatively with one another, kind of like attack speed, attack damage, and crit all do with 80 carries. So the more armor you have is more effective if you have more health. It's kind of the basic idea there. And if you have a shield, like your passive on top of it, that is also increased when you have more armor and more health. So it all just kind of scales together to make you this kind of immovable rock. So yeah, overall, very strong ability. I would think maybe in the jungle you would max this first for the AoE clear. But then in lane, I would say you probably want to max this second. It also is good for the wave clear. But the best thing about this is in team fights, if you can get the attack speed reduction on an 80 carry after an ult, they are going to be in a world of hurt. So 3 seconds of 50% reduced attack speed is crippling for an 80 carry. So very strong right there. Next would be his ultimate, Unstoppable Force. This is really Malphite's kind of signature move, and the reason why he gets banned so darn much. You can see Akali's not even breaking through my shield here, poor thing. But basically it has a 1,000 range spell where Malphite will lunge to the target, and then within 300 range he will knock people up into the air for 1.5 seconds. So I think I've said this before, but knockups are generally considered to be the best form of hard crowd control because they cannot be reduced by tenacity. I think also, I'm not actually even sure what is all included by that, but let's take a look. I think it'll say here. So tenacity affects stuns, slows, taunts, fears, silences, blinds, and immobilizes, which, and not included in that would be knockups. So in my personal opinion, knockups are the best form of crowd control. So if 1.5 second crowd control in an AoE is absolutely ridiculously strong. Basically, is the best thing about this is during team fights, you can pretty much, if you get, especially in like solo queue and in games where you're not playing against, coordinated teams, people are going to have a very difficult time kind of working together, because the big thing to keep Malphite down is you want to spread apart. You don't want to be clumped up together. Even though these guys are all chasing after me, I'm really not scared. I'm just going to run away because I'm incredibly tanky. You can see there's a nice ulti to keep Volibear inside, and there we go. There goes the kill there, and Shen ults on top of me to help join the fight, and we're going to get another kill on this Akali. Poor thing. She just got totally dumpstered in lane. There, I'm going to get the double kill, so thank you, Shen, for the help. Nice turnaround on that gank, but you can see the knock up there was so brutal. But anyways, when you're playing as Malphite, you really want to look for opportunities to get the like 3 or 4 or 5 man knockups. That's really what you're keying on, and specifically the AD carry. If you can catch the AD carry relatively forward and kind of in a position where if you knock them up, the rest of your team can really follow up and blow them up, that is ideal as Malphite. So extremely strong. This has got to be one of the strongest ultimates in the game. Just for, again, like I said before, it not only is a strong crowd control, but even just the psychology behind it, where it gives your team this big green light to say, "Hey, follow me." It automatically improves teamwork and coordination, even without any sort of like communication going on. So overall, very, very strong ultimate indeed. You can see that this Vayne is desperately trying, but she actually has pretty much the same effective HP as I do. Yeah, she has about 1,000. I've got about 900. So even though I'm at like a quarter of my health, I'm quite, we're pretty much the same HP right here, which is kind of funny as I rushed a Warmogs. But anyways, yeah, so that's Malphite. Those are his abilities. I would say overall, he is definitely a tank. Like I said, he really, really benefits as an anti-AD tank champion. So if you're going against like an AD top laner, like specifically somebody like Tryndamere would be totally shut down by a Malphite, just because he has, the shield from his passive. He's got the attack speed slow on his E. He's just got tremendous tankiness. You're probably going to just want to be building straight tank. He can still do damage to you with the high base damage on his spells, and the W boost that he gets. So yeah, Malphite really can shut down. And also, if there's like a team comp where an enemy team is like running 2 AD carries, I think Malphite would be absolutely ideal for that type of a team composition. So yeah, and I would say that Malphite's strength is his laning is relatively boring, just because he doesn't really have a ton of kill pressure. But at the same time, it's very safe because, if you're ever getting ganked, you can just throw out a Q and steal some move speed and then just run away. So his laning is relatively boring, but also relatively safe, just because there's really not much that they can do against you, but there's not really that much you can do against them. So that's kind of the trade-off. But then team fighting is where Malphite really, really shines. His team fighting is incredibly strong. You can see I'm kind of doing some split pushing here and not team fighting, which is probably a bad mistake because I think my team is getting pretty much destroyed right here. Yep, we have 3 dead, so that's not good. But I am going to take this turret, so it's probably a somewhat fair trade. Ooh, nice job. Oh, she didn't get that kill. Katarina had 46 HP. That is appalling. But yeah, so Malphite, his strength definitely comes in his team fighting and his ability to be just this immovable rock of a tank. Unfortunately, in this game, we're facing a really high magic damage threat, including Katarina, Kali, Nidalee, just a ton of magic damage on their team. And so, a bit unfortunate because Malphite really, really benefits from armor. I think in this game, I might go for it's either Frozen Heart or the Iceborne Gauntlet. Both of those are good on him just because it gives him cooldown reduction, gives him armor, it gives him mana, all three things that he really wants to itemize for. So yeah, overall, definitely a very strong item choice there from those, either of those things coming out of the Glacial Shroud. Really is kind of the idea that this item specifically gives you everything you could ever want with armor, mana, and cooldown reduction. You see, Vayne is trying to duel me here, but there's really no reason for her to do so. Because there I'm just going to ult her and ignite and get a couple more spells and just destroy her. So I'm really not even scared. I only got down to about 900 health. And actually you would think that Vayne would be a perfect straight counter to... but she doesn't have her Blade of the Ruined King finished yet. And she wasn't really able to stay away from me and kite me very well. She just kind of let me sit on top of her and auto attack with my W. So a bit poorly played there by Vayne. I'm just going to run all the way home because I'm not scared. Again, this game has been very boring, but very successful. I am 139 CS, 5 kills. It pretty much has just been like people coming up to me and I just kill them because they underestimate my tankiness so that they can't really touch me. But then I have good damage too because I have high base damage. You know, this is the point in the game where my damage actually kicks in because I have high base damage. And I have really a pretty solid steroid with my W, so this is really the high point, I think, for me to shine in terms of dueling potential. But now we're kind of moving into more of the team fighting phase of the game, and this is really where Malphite can shine. So right there you can see a really nice ultimate onto Vayne to catch her out. Let's go ahead and watch this one more time, because I really want to highlight what I was thinking in this position. So with Malphite, you always want to be watching when you're with your team. You always want to be watching for an opportunity to ult. So I saw there goes Volibear running into the brush, and now I see Vayne, so that's my cue. Go. Boom. I didn't actually get the knock-up on Volibear, but it was enough to get it on Vayne. We chained our crowd control with the taunt from Shen, and then Master Yi and Lux and everybody else just cleans up. Caitlyn, they all just clean up. Throwing out my Q. I'm taking turret aggro willingly. You can see just there, it just now broke through my shield, so I'm sitting at pretty much full HP. Pretty much going 4-on-1 right now. But my team really isn't following up on me, unfortunately. So I do end up going down, which was a bit unfortunate that my team... I guess they weren't really in a good position to follow up on me, just because I went in a little bit too deep. We actually were like, that was like 3 turrets in, so I can kind of understand why. But, you know, really to be tanking the enemy team for that long, it just shows you how tanky Malphite can be. But I'm going for the Sheen, so it does look like I'm going for the Iceborne Gauntlets at this point. Which definitely will be a strong choice. And then I think I'm just going to head back to top lane. Let's go ahead and follow Mr. Malphite. Yep, so at this point, I'm really quite strong. Let's take a look at my passive. It's giving me a 297 shield, 10% of my max HP. So that Warmog is really paying for itself with that shield. It's very, very nice. And then I have got 138 armor from the Glacial Shroud, giving me that boost. That's really nice. Those really, really good group of stats right there. And then the Mercury Treads giving me the crowd control reduction. They don't really have that much CC. Actually, they hardly have any CC. Maybe the Akali slow, and I think Volibear has a flip, but very, very little CC, their enemy team, but mostly just for the magic resist. You can see Katarina wants to fight, so I'm fine with that. Gonna pop my W, pop my E. I'm gonna throw it on a Q. Fine, go ahead. Yeah, I'm just gonna ult you out of your ulti and get the kill. So again, these assassins are continually trying to just duel with me, but there's just nothing they can do. The bane of an assassin is this kind of bruiser tank, you know, because there's nothing. Once their burst is done, they're worthless. You know, specifically Katarina and Akali, they are really, really not equipped to handle somebody like Malphite, so it makes them a very strong choice against that type of a champion. But yeah, just kind of farm it out. This game has been relatively boring up until now, and but I have been quite successful. So you can see Shen and I going for some action here. I really did kind of want to dive this, but I didn't have my ult up, but we do end up picking the kill for Lux. Shen and I are kind of like the Bash brothers right now. I kind of felt like good flash by him. I'm gonna throw down my Q and just kind of duel with these guys. Ooh, unfortunately though, Shen does get picked off, and suddenly their entire team is here. So I'm gonna flash over the wall and just kind of run away. Leave my poor Lux for dead, but they kind of want me. But I'm just going to run away again. I'm Malphite. You know, playing as Malphite, you really do kind of... I remember there were moments in this game where I just realized all of a sudden that, like, the rare moments when I do die, I was like, oh, wait, I'm not invincible. Like, you really feel invincible. You know, between your shield and the incentive for armor, just your mobility with the Q, the move speed steal, you just feel extremely powerful. And I'm just a CC monster now at this point, with my Q being a slow, my Iceborne Gauntlet auto attacks being a slow, getting a nice slow there onto Katarina, and then my E being the attack speed, and there's the ult to make sure we pick up this kill on Katarina. Generally, you don't really want to be using your ult on just one person. That probably is a bit of a waste, but no, good flip there, Volibear. Please focus me. Please, Volibear. I beg of you. But you generally don't want to be doing the one-man ults. You want to be focusing more on the AoE team ults. Because just a single, 1.5 second knockup on one person isn't such a big deal. But getting the AoE knockup is really where you can see the benefit of playing Malphite. But these team fights are so strong. Shen and I are providing such a massive front line, and they have 3 assassins pretty much. Excuse me. But they have 3 assassins. Are just going to have such a difficult time getting through our big front line that feeling very confident about winning this match if we don't throw. So, a nice spear there onto our Caitlyn. We do need Caitlyn and Lux to be the primary damage dealers, because even though I do deal damage, I am going to definitely want their damage to help out. I want to be mostly a damage sponge. So, at this point, you can see I'm going for I believe I'm heading towards a Banshee's Veil. I thought the Banshee's Veil would be a better choice. I didn't really want to go for the Spirit Visage, because I thought that it would give me too much CDR that would go to waste, and the passive doesn't really work that well with Malphite. I think maybe I'm running Lifesteal Quench just for the laning phase, but I don't really have that much regen. But here's a nice team fight. Where's the big Malphite ult? Waiting for it. Have not used it yet. Oh, I only got one. That was a bit of a mistake there. So there, I was waiting for it. There were some good opportunities there, but I really missed, was not able to be very successful there with the Malphite ultimate. Again, like I said before, you really want to make sure that you are trying to utilize it in such a way that you can take full advantage of, getting the AoE off. You want to ult as many people as you possibly can, but again, just being really tanky, taking turret shots, taking turret aggro, please, just in time. I don't think we're going to get this Volibear. I see Katarina coming back in, and then, yep, she's going to end up going down there. Ooh, Shen almost was able to save Lux's life there, but things worked out pretty well for our team right there. We have 4 of them dead right now, but I am pretty low, so probably going to look to head back. At this point, I'm just thinking that I want more magic resist. I've already got a lot of HP. I'm going to get a nice blue buff here. Malphite can definitely make use of blue buff. Cooldown reduction, the mana is really nice to allow him to spam his abilities. Let's see here. Do I go for there's the Banshee's Veil. So Banshee's Veil is definitely a solid choice against this type of a team. The magic resist is nice. I can eat a Nidalee Spear for free, which I think I just did right there. Or even a Volibear Flip, or a Vayne Condemn, whatever they choose to lead off onto me with, I can just kind of eat it with my Banshee's Veil. Which is very, very nice. You can see 2 people are coming at me, but I'm really, again, just not afraid in it by any stretch of the imagination. Got 3,700 health. Oh, maybe I should be afraid. I end up flashing. Oh, there's the Shen ult, but I do end up... Oh, that was kind of a fail. Oh, my goodness, I remember this moment now. Such a fail right there. Getting the Shen ult, and instead of kind of going in, that would probably have been a perfect time to use my ultimate. I actually ult over the wall and then eat a Nidalee Spear to my death. So... very much a fail right there, as we're kind of starting to throw this game a little bit. What we really need to do is just group up and team fight. Our team fighting is so exponentially stronger than theirs. We've got Shen, we've got Malphite, who are generally considered OP team fight champions. So we really need to just group and team fight. So you can see I'm just kind of pinging this area of the minimap saying, hey guys, come help me out. I want to team fight. So just kind of congregating in this middle area, totally willing to eat this damage. Doing a little bit of laughing, a little more laughing, throwing out a lot of Qs, and just kind of waiting for an opportune moment. We're waiting kind of now for Shen to come, and then I'm really starting to look for a moment and an opportunity to get a big ultimate off. Again, Vayne is kind of the high priority target, but if I can get at least 3, and a Malphite ult would be perfect. So we will see if I can land it. Ooh, there's a nice Lux ult. There's the Shen. Oh, I think I actually totally missed with my ulti there. I think I maybe got a Kali, but a total failure. So a bit of a mistake there. You can see even though I've talked so much about how important it is to get the multi-person Malphite ults off, I definitely failed to do that thus part. But we're starting to clean up a little bit here. Caitlyn and I can definitely clean up this team fight. Even though they're the only ones left, I'm kind of serving as her bodyguard right now. Come here, Akali. Stop it. She does pick up the kill, but she is going to pay for it with her life. Going to use my E and my W and my Q to just finish off that one. So looks like Katarina are the only ones kind of hanging around after that. But overall, a bit of a struggle. Again, these team fights have not been the best. I would say that, Malphite definitely has some intricacies. Ooh, I'm going to really slowly... Wow, it just takes me forever to burn down this dragon. That's hilarious. But I would say that really not the best use of the Malphite ults at this point. So I'm getting even more magic resist. 189 MR, that's pretty absurd. Along with a bunch of armor. So very, very good. Getting another giant spell just for kicks to get some more HP to make that shield. I want to see exactly how much my shield is giving me. 400 extra health from your shield. That is redonkulous. Wow, that is pretty crazy. So I can't catch out this Katarina and just scare her away amidst a bad recall. But she's just going to go home and... Oh, no, she's going to be right there. But yeah, again, our team is really not doing such a good job of just finishing off this game. There's no reason for us to be dawdling around. We have such a strong team fight presence. And that's really where Malphite shines. I would say that he really shines in kind of these wombo combo team fight comps. If you've got champions like Karthus or Kennen, Jarvan, those are other champions that synergize very, very well. Maybe even like a Varus that can really combo up on his AoE crowd control, Mumu. These champions that can really follow up on the AoE crowd control are really ones that excel with Malphite. But at this point, I've just gotten so strong that we just start catching people out. There's just no way that these assassins can get to our backline. As I say that, though, I think that they are now chasing. But there's a nice two-man ult to keep Vayne just totally occupied. If she's attacking me, that's exactly what I want to happen. I want the attention on me. As looks like Lux picks up a nice double kill there towards the backline. But Shen and I are just being these huge bash brothers right now. And, I do end up going down. Too many turret shots and too much Vayne. Like I said, if there ever was a champion to be good against Malphite, it would be Vayne. Her kit is pretty much specifically designed to go against someone like Malphite. Her true damage can cut through my shield and my armor. But hey, that'll happen. I can still, be tanky against her because, like I said, I am the AD carry anti-air. Katarina is just going to come in and clean up. So again, some crazy throwing here. There's no reason for I don't think Yi has been with us in these team fights. It's probably our biggest problem. But I'm back up now, and what's here? What did I actually buy? I don't know if I actually bought anything. Am I sitting on a bunch of gold? About 1,000. Okay, so... Oh man, I'm quite far ahead. But really at this point, we're just kind of looking to team fight. I went up top lane to go and split push. But there's really no reason to be all split pushing. There's no reason whatsoever. There I catch out a Volibear, and we're just going to kind of laugh at each other and throw out my Q, just kind of see what I can do, wait for my team to kind of converge in this area. And here's Katarina. She definitely, and Akali, they're kind of starting to get converged on. Nice job by Lux. Can I finally land a good Malphite ult? I haven't really had a good one yet this game. There's a nice E there to get Akali, even though she's inside of her little shroud. But here comes the really grouped up team fight. Let's finally watch this one. So Master Yi is doing a ton of damage and getting some nice E's there's the slow from the Iceborne Gauntlets. And everybody's just cleaning up. I'm getting a little low, but I'm going to ult in one more time and knock up the remaining Akali. And now it is just going to be... Ooh, a really nice job by Yi to get himself over the wall with that Q. That was pretty beautiful right there. But there goes the ace, and this game is pretty much over at this point. So overall, a very strong game. Malphite is... He's just so strong. And if you have trouble against assassins... And if they really frustrate you, you need to look into someone like Malphite. He is the anti-assassin, anti-AD assassin specifically, anti-AD carry. He just is so strong in terms of a tank. He's probably got to be one of the strongest tanks in the game. He's got an innate tankiness. He's got a steroid to still be pertinent to damage. He's got a ton of crowd control. He's got everything you would want in a tank, so that would be why he gets perma-banned at lower levels. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Malphite is pretty darn fun to play. And if you can pick him up and sneak him in every once in a while in a ranked game, I would definitely suggest it because, yeah, he's just that good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.